don't know, I'm Dan Barker, and I am the Reform UK candidate for Blackpool North and Fleetwood.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. And I'm not a career politician, and 2 years ago, just under 2 years ago, I wasn't even involved in politics. I've always been interested in politics, but I wasn't involved. And I would class myself as someone who is the silent majority, like most people out there, and like a lot of our supporters are, I would say, from that sort of group. The reason that I got involved in politics and decided that I couldn't just sit on the sidelines anymore is because I was sick of seeing politicians and the liberal elite running our country down and eroding our freedoms on one item of political correctness after another. And I'm nearly 50, and I've got 2 grown-up kids. I'm married, and I looked at my children and I saw that the opportunities they have now aren't as good as when I was their age. And I do fear what my grandchildren, when they come one day, what their opportunities will be. And so I wanted to make sure that their opportunities were better than mine. And as I said, I've not been in politics long, but one thing I have noticed is that things can change very fast and anything is possible. And I think the moment we're in now, and this general election, is a very important moment for the UK. And I would say it's the most important election we've seen in recent times. Whether you realise it or not, what's happening with Reform, what's happening with the Conservative Party, and the fact that Labour have had such high poll ratings for so long, yet in reality the only reason why they are so popular is because they're not the Tory party. And I find that state of affairs very troubling, because we don't really know what Labour stand for or what they are going to do. We don't really know what Keir Starmer stands for. He's been in opposition for so long and he's done so many U-turns. How is he going to do under the pressure of government? For me, that's an open question, and I haven't got much confidence in him, I'll be honest. And I think after 27 years of Labour and the Tories, and the country, I think most people would regard it as being in quite a mess. This is the stuff we're dealing with now has been coming for a long time, and I think this is the election where people are really going to speak up about it when they vote on the 4th of July. And this is the first time that we've had a real choice, I would say, because it's the first time, rather than it just being a choice between Tories or Labour and Tories, we now have a possibility to change direction by choosing Reform UK.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, sadly, Labour has won the election. And what's really at stake now is the size of their majority, and perhaps more importantly, who will be the voice of opposition.
Yep.
Now, if it's the Lib Dems, because they're forecast to get quite a few seats in the South East and South West, I think you'll find that will just be an echo chamber. They're basically on the same page and they agree on pretty much the same stuff. So they're no good as an opposition party. And then you've got the Tories, who are so broken and divided and worn out, and there's no way, as soon as this election is passed, whatever's left of them is going to be at war with each other. So they can't be the voice of opposition. And then we have Reform UK.
Hey.
And we are a party that's full of energy and ideas, and we have something to say. And we have a leader who has got a track record of holding rotten politicians and rotten policies to account in the public. So I would say, the question is, who is going to call out the bad ideas that we're going to get under this Labour government? Who is going to call out the waste, the obsession with race and minority rights, the wokery, and who will offer an alternative vision for the UK? And I firmly believe that that party is Reform UK. Now, my vision for Blackpool North and Fleetwood is very simple, but I do admit it's ambitious. So, working with, hopefully, Mark Butcher in Blackpool South, we will deliver a plan to boost the economy and give year-round jobs to the Fylde coast. And first of all, and I'll let Mark talk more about these two things, first of all, we'll be reopening Blackpool Airport. Second thing will be bringing a film studio to the Fylde coast, and the UK is really successful at making TV and films, and we want a slice of that here. For Fleetwood, a town that's been forgotten about for decades and left behind, a town, when you look around, it's got such great bones, such great buildings, it's had such a great history, a great past, and I just see the politicians in the last 20 years have had no vision apart from giving people handouts and then forgetting about them. And I want to bring the fishing back to Fleetwood. Because one job at sea is worth 8 jobs on land. So we don't need levelling up, we need jobs, and we need people to get back and have something for their families, for their kids, and a future, and a reason to stay in Fleetwood. I also think it's a travesty that Fleetwood is one of the few, possibly the only major town in England and the UK that hasn't got a rail link. And that's another disability for the town, and so I want to see that rail link from Poulton to Fleetwood reconnected. And then finally, the last couple of things is, and I'll hand over to Mark, is, and this is something that I know resonates with everybody, about tackling antisocial behaviour and crime. And, we are the party of law and order, backing our police to do the job, getting politics out of the police, getting rid of two-tier policing, and a zero-tolerance approach to police in this area of England. And we're also about protecting pensioners. I mean, there's a high percentage of pensioners in this area. And so our party policy, which I fully support, is about protecting the triple lock and taking a serious look at the travesty of social care and working out how we're going to deal with it. Because just saying it's a problem and not admitting that we need to spend more money on it is ducking the issue.